Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays, a little space here on the interweb that I have carved out to share some tools, some tips, some nuggets with you. I'm just your friendly neighborhood life coach, and I'm here to share a little something with you. Let's get started, shall we? Okay. So during the month of February, it's all like, love, February, yes, yummy. And so last month, we talked all about self-love and self-care and the importance of those things first and foremost, which is why we started off the year from that space. And this month, we're moving into how we bring that into relationships, right? How do we bring love into relationships? If love is a verb, what does that mean? If you watched last week's video, then you understood that I shared a little bit about what healthy relationships should feel like and be like. And I gave you a challenge to start assessing your own relationships and making some determinations about where there can be some shifting in order to get those relationships to healthier and happier places. This week, what we're going to talk about is 3 communication tips that I have for you that if you, for real, if you implement these 3 tips, you are going to change the way that you talk and understand the people in your life, and you're going to be more successful in your relationships. Successful. I just mean they're going to be healthier, right? So let's dive right in. The first thing that I want to share with you is a little something I call listen up. So basically, all it means is when someone is talking to us, we're listening truly to understand, not to wait to our turn to rebuttal. Not to wait to our turn to say something back, right? A lot of times we come into conversations, we come into our dialogues, we come into arguments or discussions or debates, whatever you want to call them, already equipped on the defense, ready to go at it. That's not helpful for anybody. The reality is that for you, it's causing you unnecessary levels of cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and it's shutting down parts of your brain that allow you to fully understand what's being said because you're on the defense. And it makes you someone who wants to attack the person that you're talking to. How do I know? Because I used to be the president of that club. Oh yeah. Lady aggressive right here. My gosh, no one could say anything to me any kind of way because I always took it personal. I always took it wrong. I was always aggressive. I was always on the attack, right? I had grown up in a life that for me, the survival was, the requirement was attack. You attack them before they attack you. And so I had carried that into my adulthood, and it wasn't serving me at all. It wasn't serving my relationships. It wasn't serving my dynamics. It just wasn't healthy. So even though it was something that I used to survive when I was younger, I had to become self-aware enough to recognize that I was carrying that into all of my dynamics and how unhealthy that was. So the first thing I had to learn how to do was just zip my lips and listen up. I read somewhere before, it said, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth so you could listen twice as much as you talk. Ayo. Now, I have a word quota. I'm going to be the first one to admit that. So I talk a lot because I got to hit that quota every day. But when I'm listening to people now, because I'm practiced, I'm really listening with the intent to try and understand where they're coming from. A great way that we can do that is by asking clarifying questions and using paraphrasing. So if someone says something to me and I think instantly that word puts me on the defense, or that word makes me feel some kind of way, or that word triggers something in me, instead of allowing my triggers, my filters, my defenses to inform what they're saying, I instead acknowledge that, what I'm feeling for myself, within myself, and then I ask, what do you mean when you say duh? And then, like 99% of the time, when they clarify, it's nowhere near what I thought it was, right? So it gives them room to really be understood, and by my asking the question, I'm taking responsibility to participate in this relationship where I want to fully understand you, right? And then I say, okay, so when you said that, does that mean that you feel frustrated? And then they go, yes, thank you, that's the word. Or I'll say, so what you're trying to say is blah, 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 right? And then they go like, yes. Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page, that I understand what you're saying. So listen up is the first. The second tool that I want to give you is speak clearly. And I don't just mean pronunciate your words. No, I mean speak clearly. So part of communicating as well is whether or not we're actually getting the message across, right? It's more about the delivery, our inflection, the tone that we're using when we talk to other people. So if I go to someone and I say, I just want you to understand me, what does that even mean? Like, what? That's this. And I used to say that. I wish you would just understand me. Okay, what does that mean? Because that's a huge statement. I just wish you would understand me. Or when people say things like, he should just know what I need. Is he a psychic? Is he clairvoyant? Does he have a crystal ball that he goes and, like checks in with? No. So it is our responsibility to speak clearly, to be clear about how we feel, what we want, and what we need, because other humans, ready, are not mind readers. So we have to take responsibility and say, I need to be clear about what I want so that I'm understood. Now, if we're talking to someone who doesn't practice clear communication, then again, the onus does fall on us to make sure that we're understood. We can't just assume that they got it, they get it, and they're going to follow through. No. Instead, we can ask more clarifying questions. Did that make sense? Did I explain myself clearly? Can you repeat back what you thought you heard so that I can make sure that you understood me? And sometimes they repeat it back and I'm like, who? I didn't say that. Okay. And then rather than go, you don't understand me and you're wrong and I'm speaking clearly. So I go, allow me to rephrase. Allow me to say it a different way, right? Again, I'm taking the onus and the responsibility because one, I'm just so done with fighting. And two, I want to speak in a way that allows me to be understood. And the more that I practice that, the better I get at speaking clearly the first time around, right? Very clear, very concise. My messages gets across. People know what I need. They know what I want. They know how I feel. And it does take practice. The last thing that I want to give you is what I like to call the sandwich technique, right? Think about two soft buns and then messy stuff in the middle with the avocado and the chicken and you bite it and things falling out, right? Okay, so the two soft buns is lots of love and appreciation and praise. And then the messy stuff in the middle is the request. So this is a really great thing that you can use when you need something from someone or when you're trying to let someone know something that might feel a little harsh and put them on the defense. When you come at someone and you say, I love you so much, I care about you, I care about this relationship, I want us to continue to grow. What I need is blah, 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 blah. What I feel is da, 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 da. What I want is blah, 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 right? And I'm taking ownership by saying what I need, not what you need to do or what you need to realize. That's not helping anybody. That's putting them on the defense. Then they can't hear you. Their filters are shifting because their defenses are up, right? So love you, appreciate you, genuinely, truly. These are the things that I love and appreciate about you. Here's where the requirement, the request, the criticism, the need is, right? And when I say criticism, it's not an attack. It's like, if you want to ask someone in your family who you really care about to stop swearing at their children because it makes them cry, for real, right? That could be a thing. You could, I love you, I appreciate you, I see you, you're doing it, this parenting thing, it's not easy, da 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 da. I would love if, how would we word that? I would love if you could speak to the children without swearing, because when you do, it doesn't just startle them, it startles me, and I'm an adult. And I see them and how they respond, and I love them too. How can I best support you? And then the bun. How can I best support you? Because you are doing this thing, right? You're an amazing parent and I know you're doing your best. And like, I see you showing up every day for your kids and blah, blah, blah. So you're not just saying, here's the criticism, but you're also saying, how can I support you in this space, right? That's just like an example that popped in my head. I don't know why. But sandwich technique, right, is a great way to give someone something that then makes it digestible. See what I did there? So fun. All right. So first, listen up. Make sure you're listening to understand, asking clarifying questions, paraphrasing, and not listening to rebuttal, but listening to truly try to gather the information that's being delivered. The second is speak clearly. Make sure that you state what you need, what you want, and how you feel. Use I statements because it's your stuff, they're your feelings, right? Rather than go on the attack. Allow yourself room to be asked questions and to clarify. And also we should also ask questions like, did that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes or no, like that, right? And then the third, use this language technique when you have to deliver something that feels a little heavy or a little bit much, right? You can do this in an email, you can do this in a letter, you can do it in a text, you can do it in person. I recommend practicing it immediately because I guarantee you, if you practice it and you use this language accordingly, it always works. Yeah. And then when we do these things and we're practicing communication, we're being intentional about how we communicate. We're creating healthier dynamics in our relationship. We're creating healthier relationships. That is love, because love is a verb, and the verb this time is listen. The verb next time might be speak, and the verb the next time might be love, right? Smother it in love. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that this was helpful. If you know someone who can benefit from watching this video and learning these tools about communication, who's probably everybody, sometimes I need to coach myself through it too, for real. Please go ahead and share it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs down or not. I'm not the boss of you. And I love you and I appreciate you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I will see you next week when we talk more about relationships. I'll post a video here from last week to talk more about understanding what a healthy relationship is. And that's all I got. Peace.